So what you're currently hearing, the synth and the drums, is all coming from this. Now this guitar here does have its own drum loops and its different sort of sound effects like piano, guitars, banjo, and things like that. But what you are hearing is me utilizing the MIDI feature. So I got to play with all of my synth and drum plugins with the guitar that I'm used to playing. I can do a little stuff on the piano and keys, sure, but this opened up a whole new world of possibilities for me. So this is not your average guitar, as you can sort of see and hear. This is the AeroBand guitar. And this really might change the way you think about playing music. So in today's video, I'm gonna test out all of its features, showcase all of its sounds, go over all the things I think that's great about it, go over all the things that I don't think that's great about it, to give you my honest thoughts, tell you who I think this is mostly for, and all that. So let's get into it. So let's first just go over what this thing is, what it's capable of, and then I'll show you some sounds and then we'll talk more about it. Now it has silicone strings that are basically stuck on the fretboard. So my first thought on this is, how am I going to slide and do hammer-ons and even bend? Now, unfortunately, you can't bend because the strings are silicone and you literally can't move them. But you can do hammer-ons and slides and things like that. You just turn on a button within the app and I'll show you that a little later. But with the silicone string thing, there's no tuning needed. Now you may be wondering what these buttons are up here. This is for capo. If you want to add a capo up, you just press this button and it'll keep going up. If you want it going down, so if you want to play a half step down, you also have tons of other tunings that you can automatically go to via the app as well. So like I said, it's also a MIDI device. You can plug this directly in, record synths, drums, all that. And I didn't even get to the good part yet. This has a built-in speaker, a microphone, and a drum loop all built in with this. The built-in speaker is about 30 watts. You have a detachable neck for easy travel. Now within the app itself, you have interactive lessons for beginners. You can learn chords. You also get real-time feedback. It'll instantly correct any issues. You can play with tons of the most popular guitar songs of all time. Now the silicone strings, I will say, they take a few minutes to get used to, but they are very soft and satisfying to press. It's very, very comfortable for long-term practice. You're not gonna get any calluses or anything like that. And it's just a finger-friendly design. There's a little bar right here where you can put your palm, and it acts as a palm mute. You control the volume with these knobs. You control the tone as well. This is where you can also start the backing tracks. Now I'm sure you're curious about all the different sounds and instruments that this thing can do that's built in with this and the app. So let's get right into that, and then we're going to talk about who this is for, my thoughts on it, and other things like that. Now, when I first learned about this, I was a bit confused. I really wasn't sure who this was for. I was like, maybe it's just for complete beginners or even kids. But after messing with it and like recording with it, it can be for anybody. And I really do mean this. I consider myself an advanced guitar player. You know, I've been playing for almost 20 years and I have a use for this, but it could be for total complete beginners, songwriters, producers, because you have the MIDI thing. You can record all of these crazy synth parts now that you can't do yourself on a keyboard, let's say. And if you're just a guitar player, now you can do that. It's an amazing MIDI guitar, if anything. I mean, and it does a million other things. It's wild. So now let's just get into the build quality. It is very light, and like I said, it has that detachable neck. It comes with a pretty compact case. It's perfect for traveling or just jamming or recording on the go. Now you might be wondering about like the response and how hard you dig in with these strings. You can actually control that via the app. You can control each of the strings' sensitivity. You can control the volume of each of the strings. There's so many settings within this app that you can do that have blown my mind. The changing of the tunings, for example, is crazy. Here's an example of that. Now, a few things I definitely have to mention. If you do end up getting this thing, you do have to change the settings to make this a little bit more playable than it comes in the case. For example, the hammer on and pull off slide feature, you need to turn that on within the app, as you can see on the screen. You have the special tunings because you can't physically tune it, so you can change it to dad, gad, open D. You can manually change the strings if you want to, open A, open F, whatever you want. Then, like I said, the string sensitivity, you're gonna have to adjust to your specific playing, to how sensitive, you know, your playing are and the notes are, things like that. Now, a quick little pro tip, the lower the string sensitivity, the better response for light touch players. Now, as you've already have heard me say and have heard, this isn't just a guitar. It can also be a piano, a banjo, a keyboard or clavinet, acoustic guitar, electric guitar. Now, when it comes to MIDI, you can literally have this be any instrument you desire of whatever plugins you have with your whatever DAW that you're using. The MIDI thing, honestly, is what I love the most about this. It is absolutely perfect for producers or people that want to record different instruments on their songs who are guitar players and don't have access to those other instruments or just can't play them. Now, other quick pro tips, if you are recording MIDI in your DAW, you want to set the buffer size to about 16 or 32 samples. You also obviously choose the AeroBand MIDI as your input and also adjust the sensitivity of the strings like we talked about earlier for just less latency when it comes to recording in the DAW. Now let's get into if you're just a total beginner and you want to learn how to play guitar. I will say, I do think it might be best best to learn on an actual acoustic guitar because this is completely different. Let's say you really are having a hard time, you're struggling, or you just want to have kind of more fun, I will say. This really might be one of the easiest ways to start. You can get those simple finger shapes down, no problem. You're not gonna get calluses, and then when you actually do get these shapes down pretty well, you can easily transform them onto another guitar. The feeling is a bit different, so the adjustment might take a little bit to get used to, but this is definitely still a great start for a beginner. You get real-time feedback. You have really, really great interactive lessons that will tell you if you're doing something wrong. You have some of the world's most popular songs you can play with and learn how to play all the chords and things like that. It'll track your progress, which is really great to see over time. So here are my honest and final thoughts. This is an all-in-one instrument besides the fact that it's not a quote-unquote real guitar. If you love your vintage gear, if you love your analog gear, if you love Les Pauls and those electric guitars and tube amps, all that stuff, you're not gonna be into this. You're not going to. You could still enjoy it as sort of like a throw-around guitar that just lays around. You can just mess with it here and there, sure. But it really might not be for you at the end of the day. But if you really want to record other instruments on your guitar recordings and things like that, and you don't know how to play anything else, the MIDI feature on this thing to record MIDI is one of my favorite things I've ever demoed on this channel. It's so fun and I cannot stop. That synth intro track I did, I've had so much fun with that. It does take a little bit to get used to it because all the silicone strings are all the same size, like because normally on a normal acoustic guitar or electric guitar, the lower strings are a bit thicker than the higher strings. The gauge is a lot different. So there's just a couple things to consider. I mean, it's not the feel of a real guitar. The app itself is extremely essential for the entire experience, and it definitely is better suited for digital environments. This isn't going to replace your Stratocaster or Taylor Acoustic, but it's giving you a completely new way to express yourself musically, especially if you're just starting out or you just want something more portable. Now, if you do want to check out the AeroBand guitar and you want to get one for yourself, there is a discount code down in the description below. Now, please let me know in the comments, what would you primarily use this for? Do you like this thing at all? What are your just first thoughts about it? What are your last thoughts about it after hearing more about it? Would you use it to produce music, learn guitar? Please let me know. Now, I actually might write a full MIDI track with this thing, so if you want to see that, comment a thumbs up below. Thanks as always for watching my gear demos. I have been Matt Kelly. Enjoy the rest of your day or night or whatever, and I will see you in the next